Thank you so very much for that welcome and introduction. I am so excited to participate in this 40th celebration of FDA's Orange Book by speaking with all of you, and I hope that you find the following Orange Book 101 session to be a helpful starting point as we take a deep dive into this resourceful publication over the next 2 days. The learning objectives for this session are for you to be able to recognize timing for the Orange Book website and publication updates, explain how information is gathered and assessed for publication in the Orange Book, to identify important aspects of Orange Book drug product listings, and to recognize the impact of the Orange Book publication on regulatory decision-making. So let's begin by discussing the timing for updates as they pertain to the Orange Book. The Orange Book publication and its monthly cumulative supplements, referred to as the monthly CS, satisfy the FDA's requirements to publish an up-to-date list of all marketed drug products that have been approved for safety and efficacy and for which new drug applications are required. Since February 2005, FDA has provided daily electronic Orange Book, or EOB, product information updates for new generic drug approvals. In 2015, FDA launched its first mobile application, the Orange Book Express, which also provides a list of drug products approved by the FDA. In addition to daily updates for generic drug applications, the Orange Book website and mobile application are also reflective of daily updates to patent information. Generally, new drug applications, or NDA approvals, appear in the CS for the month in which the NDA approvals are approved. Therefore, an NDA approved on October 1, 2020 would appear in the October CS. Keep in mind that FDA intends to publish the monthly CS at the end of the second full week of each month. So for example, this month's CS, the October CS, would publish during the second full week of November and reflect both the generic and new drug approvals current to the date of the CS publication. Similarly, exclusivity information is updated monthly and is current as of the date of the monthly CS publication. The Orange Book Annual Edition contains drug product lists for prescription, over-the-counter, and discontinued products, as well as 3 appendices. Appendix A, which contains an alphabetical product name index, Appendix B, which contains a product name sorted by applicant list, and Appendix C, which contains a list of uniform terms sorted by dosage form, routes of administration, and other abbreviations used in the Orange Book, and 2 addenda related to patents and exclusivity that are current as of the date of the annual publication. The website and app are also updated to reflect the Orange Book changes that are published in the annual Orange Book edition. The annual publication is published at the end of January each year, and commensurate with Orange Book's 40th anniversary, the most recent annual publication is the 40th edition. Because the Orange Book contains valuable public health information and advice for regulatory and health professionals, you can imagine that keeping the publication up to date requires extensive gathering and assessment of data from a multitude of sources. The Orange Book staff is responsible for collating drug approval and patent submission information, reviewing efficacy supplements, and providing consult for controlled correspondence and citizen petitions. This diagram is meant to capture in a very simplified way the diverse and important work done by the Orange Book staff. And taking an even closer look at how various information sources contribute to the accuracy of the Orange Book, we can gain an even deeper understanding of the important work undertaken by the Orange Book staff each day. Not only are drug approvals and patent submissions routinely gathered for daily and monthly updates to product listings, ongoing correspondence with applicants contribute to the accuracy of the product and patent-related updates that occur in the Orange Book. The Orange Book staff review efficacy supplements after new drug applications are approved, and the subsequent exclusivity determinations made by the agency are then published in the monthly CS. The Orange Book staff also provides written consults on drug status to support the agency's intended action in response to control correspondence and citizen petitions. Other presentations scheduled for later in the conference schedule will also shed light on the work that the Orange Book staff does to process 506I marketing status reports and transfer of ownership notifications from drug applicants. This work is also critical for maintaining accuracy of the Orange Book. Because every effort is made to ensure that the information in the Orange Book is current, I'm certain you can appreciate the internal agency collaboration necessary to maintain the high level of accuracy desired for the Orange Book publication. The Orange Book staff, which is part of the Office of Generic Drugs, OGD, works routinely with various staff across the agency, including but certainly not limited to the Office of New Drugs, O&D, the Office of Pharmaceutical Quality, OPQ, the Office of Regulatory Policy, ORP, the Office of Communications, OCOM, and many others. The agency also encourages healthcare practitioners, industry representatives, regulatory professionals, and consumers to inform the FDA Orange Book staff of any changes or corrections necessary to maintain the accuracy of this valuable Orange Book publication. We'll discuss various mechanisms for requesting changes to the information in the Orange Book, such as the patent information dispute process, which will be discussed later today during the conference. So in summary, the Orange Book staff gathers and reviews information to support Orange Book updates that occur on a predetermined basis. Now that we understand when the Orange Book is updated, we're ready to discuss in greater detail what information the Orange Book actually contains and how this information is displayed to end users like you and me. The Orange Book provides a list of drug products approved under Section 505 of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, organized into 3 sections: the prescription, over-the-counter OTC, and discontinued drug product list. The Orange Book is critical for determining which generic drug products can be substituted for particular brand name products. And the Orange Book is the only definitive source for therapeutic equivalence, TE, evaluations, reference listed drug, RLD information, patent listings, and exclusivity determinations. And now that we've discussed what information the Orange Book does contain, let's turn our attention to the information that is not contained in the Orange Book. The Orange Book does not contain approved drug products that were discontinued either before the first edition was published in October 1980 or discontinued between 1980 and 1987 prior to the inclusion of the discontinued drug product list in the Orange Book. Also not contained in the Orange Book are drug products that do not have full approval, so tentatively approved drug products will not appear in the publication. Biological products licensed by FDA under the Public Health Service Act will not be added to the Orange Book in accordance with the Biologics Price Competition and Innovation Act, or BPCIA, of 2009, which removed biological products from the Orange Book publication. Marketed drug products that are not the subject of an approved new drug application, or NDA, or abbreviated new drug application, ANDA, also will not be added to the Orange Book. Drug products compounded by pharmacies and outsourcing facilities pursuant to Sections 503A and 503B of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act will also not appear in the Orange Book publication. Now let's take a look at how drug product listings appear in the electronic Orange Book. After navigating to the electronic Orange Book on FDA's Orange Book website and using the search bar to query a specific drug product, this is what you will see for that drug product listing. The marketing status column identifies the specific product list associated with the specific drug product listing, whether it be prescription, over-the-counter OTC, or discontinued. Generally, newly approved products are added to the active section of the Orange Book. In other words, the prescription drug product list or the over-the-counter drug product list, depending on the dispensing requirements, prescription or OTC, unless the Orange Book staff is otherwise notified before publication. Generally speaking, approved products are added to the discontinued drug product list when the applicant notifies the Orange Book staff of the product's not marketed status. Products may also be added to the discontinued product list if annual reports or other submissions to the agency indicate that the product is not being marketed and is not available, or as a result of other agency administrative actions, including withdrawal of approval of a drug product application. The approved drug product labeling for each product is used to determine how the active ingredient will be listed. It should be noted, however, that the agency intends to list the active ingredients in this highlighted column alphabetically. The proprietary name column contains the name accepted by FDA upon approval of the drug product, or this column may contain the active ingredient name or names in cases where the drug product does not have an accepted proprietary name. The application number can be found in this column. When the number is preceded by an N, this indicates that this product listing is for a new drug application, or NDA, commonly referred to as the innovator. When the number is preceded by an A, this listing is for an abbreviated new drug application, or ANDA, commonly referred to as the generic. And just as the active ingredient is listed as per the approved drug product labeling, the dosage form, route, and strength are listed in the Orange Book as described in the drug product labeling. More specifically, the drug product strength information is expressed in terms of the amount of drug substance, active ingredient, in the drug product. Sometimes the strength is expressed in terms of the amount of the active moiety. For example, certain drug products included in the Orange Book include a designation of EQ next to their strength expression. This EQ designation is generally used in connection with salt drug products in order to indicate that the strength of such drug product is being expressed in terms of the equivalent strength of the active moiety, for example, equivalent to 200 milligrams base, rather than in terms of the strength of the entire active ingredient. The coding system for therapeutic equivalents, TE, allows Orange Book users to recognize quickly whether the agency has determined that a particular approved drug product, for example, a particular strength, dosage form, and route of administration of an approved drug, is therapeutically equivalent to other pharmaceutically equivalent drug products. Drug products that the agency considers to be multi-source have been assigned a therapeutic equivalence code. Tomorrow, during session 12, Elizabeth Friedman will present an overview of therapeutic equivalence and explain how therapeutic equivalence determinations are made by the agency. A reference listed drug, or RLD, is the listed drug identified by FDA in this column as the drug product upon which an applicant can rely on to seek approval of an ANDA. FDA identifies reference listed drugs in the prescription drug product, OTC drug product, and discontinued drug product lists. A reference standard, or RS, is the drug product selected by FDA that an applicant seeking approval of an ANDA must use in conducting an in vivo bioequivalence study required for approval. FDA generally selects a single reference standard that ANDA applicants must use in vivo bioequivalence testing. Ordinarily, FDA will select the reference listed drug as the reference standard. However, in some instances, the reference listed drug and the reference standard may be different. For example, where the reference listed drug has been withdrawn from sale, FDA may select an ANDA as the reference standard. Listed drugs identified as reference standards represent FDA's best judgment at the current time as to the appropriate comparator for the purposes of conducting in vivo bioequivalence studies required for approval. During session 13, scheduled during tomorrow's afternoon portion of the conference, referencing approved drug products and abbreviated new drug applications will be discussed, as well as how to request the designation of drug products as reference listed drugs or reference standards. Products in the Orange Book are identified by the names of the holders of approved applications or the applicants, who may not necessarily be the manufacturer of the product. The Orange Book does not identify distributors or repackagers in this column. Let's keep going and take a look at how patent data is displayed in the electronic Orange Book. All unexpired patents with their expiration dates are displayed for each application queried. The drug product number in the first column is for FDA internal computer data use only. The patent number displayed in this column is listed as provided by the applicant. Similarly, the expiration date is also listed in the electronic Orange Book as provided by the applicant. Drug substance and drug product patents are indicated as such with the letters DS or DP in their respective columns. Use patents are indicated with the symbol U, followed by a number that represents a specific use. Placing your cursor over the use code displays the definition for that use code. For example, the definition of U2469 is method of treating cancerous solid tumors. The date associated with each patent submission for a drug product is also visible from this patent data view. Continuing our discussion of the electronic Orange Book, we now move on to the exclusivity data query. If an NDA submitted under Section 505B of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act qualifies for exclusivity under the FD&C Act, the exclusivity is generally listed in the Patent and Exclusivity section of the Orange Book. The exclusivity query identifies the product number, exclusivity code, and exclusivity expiration date. Placing your cursor over the exclusivity code displays its definition. A complete list of patent use codes and exclusivity codes can also be accessed from this query. The list of patent use codes is sorted numerically beginning with U-1 and contains nearly 3,000 codes with their corresponding definitions. The list of exclusivity codes is arranged alphabetically by code and definition. There is also an additional information and resources link that allows users of the Orange Book website to access other agency resources related to the Orange Book. The additional information and resources link will allow you access to the following: the additions, deletions for prescription and OTC drug products link, which is a list of the new additions and new deletions to the prescription and OTC drug product list for a specific month. This list should be used in conjunction with the information in the most current cumulative supplement and most recent annual edition of the Orange Book. The Orange Book data files link will allow you to access downloadable data files for the Orange Book, which contain text files for the approved product list and unexpired patent and exclusivity information. The reference listed drugs by ANDA reference standard list refers to drug products that are approved under an abbreviated new drug application, or ANDA, that FDA has also selected as a reference standard and the associated reference listed drug for these products. For all patent listing disputes, FDA posts information on whether a patent listing dispute has been submitted to FDA and whether the NDA holder has timely responded to the dispute on the Orange Book list. The list contains relevant drug product information and the disputed patent. The list is cumulative in nature and organized by drug product, established name, and patent number. The BPCIA link will allow you to access an archival copy of the March 20th, 2020 edition of the cumulative supplement that contains information regarding biological products that have been approved under Section 505 of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act as of March 19th, 2020, but were subsequently removed from the Orange Book based on the agency's position that these products are no longer listed drugs as of March 23rd, 2020. The frequently asked questions in the Orange Book and frequently asked questions on patents and exclusivity links include answers to commonly asked questions such as, how can the electronic Orange Book be used to find approved drugs? And where can patent exclusivity regulations in the Code of Federal Regulations be found? Among many other questions that you may desire the answer to. You may also find it helpful to access the preface to the Orange Book 40th edition from this page. The FDA introduces reference standard data updates to the Orange Book link, provides background information regarding the 2017 modification to the Orange Book, which clarified which listed drugs are reference listed drugs and which ones are reference standards. I hope that you'll use the information presented during this Orange Book 101 session and keep in mind the bigger picture as you attend the various conference sessions. And with that, let's move on to the challenge questions. Challenge question number 1. The Orange Book staff uses generic drug approval information to update product listings in the Orange Book database daily. A, true, or B, false? The answer, of course, is true. But can you think about what you learned during this presentation that would make this answer false? Here's a hint. What if generic drug approval was replaced with new drug approval? You got it. The answer would be false because, as we learned, new drug approvals are generally updated monthly. Challenge question number 2. The Orange Book publication includes which of the following? A, prescription drug product listings, B, patent and exclusivity data, C, marketing status, or D, all of the above? You got it. The answer is D, all of the above. Do you remember what product information is not contained in the Orange Book? Remember to keep in mind that biological products and drug products without full FDA approval are not added to the Orange Book publication. Also remember to recall the information specific to the Orange Book website and the annual edition of the Orange Book publication. I hope the presentation provided you with a high-level overview of the important information contained in the Orange Book as intended, and that you were able to achieve the learning objectives outlined at the beginning of this discussion. Thank you again for your attention during this session, and enjoy your scheduled conference break.